Hey guys, Marisa at KitchenTableStamper.com. Welcome to our part 2 in our holiday paper sampler shortcut card sketch series. We've got shortcut card sketch number 22 for you. It's a brand new one on the blog. If you don't know, if you're new around here, shortcut card sketches are our free PDF printable resource. You can get all 22 on the blog absolutely for free. Go to KitchenTableStamper.com and in the right hand side, sort for shortcut card sketches, and all of the ideas we have with all of the sketches will be available to you, and you can print these off for free if you like. If you want them all in one compiled document with an awesome printable cover so you can make yourself a binder like mine, check out the link in the description below to our store. These sketches are available in that PDF compiled document for a very small price, and it's an awesome way to support the channel. All right, let's get on to shortcut card sketch number 22. Card Club for Cool People members, you've seen this one before. In fact, I think you've seen it twice. So our Card Club members always get things first. All right, so here we go. This is our card for today, and we're using the beautiful Christmas tags and more designer series paper. You got a sample of that in your paper sampler. This paper is so much fun. There's elements you can cut off of the 6x6 sheets. There's these amazing die cut ephemeras. We're gonna put it all together with shortcut card sketch number 22 and the long time no see stamp set. All right, let's get started here. The first thing I want to do is get my level A, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And for this card, I have crumb cake. Just love this brand new folder. This is the beautiful pattern folder. This is new from Stampin' Up. It'll be available in November 2025. Unless you want to join my Kitchenettes team. For $35, you guys, you get $125 worth of product. That's $90 for free. And you can add the pre-order products into your starter kit and get them before everybody else. So if you've got questions about becoming a kitchenette, joining during this awesome October promotion, reach out. Marisa at KitchenTableStamper is my email address. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have or help you get started. $35 for $125 worth of product and the brand new stuff that you can't order as a customer right now. So it's an amazing time to join. We're seeing our team grow by leaps and bounds. So welcome to all of our new kitchenettes. We're so glad you're here. It's going to be fun. All right, I'm going to emboss the whole front of my level A, and I'm going to run it through the machine here so that the fold is on the side of the machine. Now, this is something you're gonna do at your own risk. If you're new around here, I do this all the time. If you've been around for a while, you know. But I know that it makes some of you a little uneasy because you cannot allow this fold to rub against the side of the machine. If you do, you will total your folder. You'll grate the fold right off and it will be useless. So make sure that the fold lines up with the #1 platform if you're gonna do this, and watch it the whole way through. Make sure it doesn't scrape the side of the machine, okay? And if that makes you a little uneasy, then grab yourself a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 piece of crumb cake, emboss it with that gorgeous, beautiful pattern, and then glue that layer on. I think that that extra cardstock layer looks nice sometimes when you want it to be framed in, but it does add a lot of weight to the card, and it also does add some expense to the card. Let's face it, our cardstock has gone up in price along with everything else in the whole wide world. So it's nice to have just the one layer of cardstock. And speaking of gone up in price and everything else in the whole wide world going up in price, Stampin' Up! Demonstrators enjoy 20 to 25% off of every order plus the Stampin' Rewards. So it's a great time to join. I know I've said that before. All right, so our shortcut card sketch level B here, this piece is 2 by 5 1/4 on the sketch, but this edge on the designer series paper is 1 3/4. Let me show you this piece. This paper is really cool. If you haven't seen it, You can check it out, and you can get it at marisaAlvarez.stampinup.net. But it's this really cool kind of divided piece. On the back is a seafoam diamond pattern, but I cut that edge off, and that's 1 3/4 wide. So we're gonna shake this up a little bit and do 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And if you guys know me, you know that's when I say crafty girls do what they like, right? And then the other piece from the Tags and More, Christmas Tags and More paper, we're going to use this plaid side here this time. This is 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. Let's get some glue and glue those down. All right, I'm going to glue these. Oh boy, look at that. It's hard to put adhesive on the pretty side of the paper. Both of these have great patterns on both sides. All right, so I'm going to put that to the right, but all the way up at the top edge. And then this one about 1/2 inch from the bottom. Let me show you our sample again, because I used different patterns of Designer Series paper here, and it'll really show this pack of paper. Like our paper samplers show you all the patterns in the paper, get a little taste of everything. And since you've got it all, I thought I'd show you some different combinations. All right, so there's our B and C layer. Next is D, and D is this rectangle here, about 2 7/8 by 3 1/4. But the idea of the sketches isn't that they're set in stone, right? The idea of the sketches is that they be a place for you to start crafting, to make a card with confidence. Even though you don't know exactly how it's going to end up, how it's going to finish, you know with the shortcut card sketch that in the end you're going to end up with something that you love. So feel free to make changes you want. Change the measurements of the piece. Swap out a die cut for any element. These really are your place to just jump in and get crafty. Okay, so E, any shape of your choice for the sentiment. I've got this little strip here. It's 2 1/2 by 3/4. It's just a scrap of white. Let me get this out of here, and we're going to do some stamping now. And long time no see is photopolymer, as will all of Stampin' Up stamps be, starting with the November online exclusives. And when you go to join as a demonstrator, if you go to marisaAlvarez.stampinup.net and you click on join, and then you go through and like start a starter kit order, you can see all of the new online exclusives that way. I know, pro tip, you can decide once you're there if you're going to join, if you're going to buy a starter kit or not. But it's a great little way to sneak peek of what's coming if you're not already a demonstrator. But with this new November online exclusives release, all of our stamps going forward are going to be photopolymer, no more red rubber. All will be packaged in new envelope packaging, poly envelope packaging, and our dies will be packaged in the same envelopes. All right, so look out for that. I'll be showing some of that stuff when I do this card live tomorrow on YouTube and Facebook. That was Merry Christmas with Cherry Cobbler ink, by the way, you guys. And we might as well just get our llama in here too. Let me get this back. But things are changing, and I'm not sure exactly how I feel about it or how I'm going to store things. Everybody asks, how do you feel about it? How are you going to store things? And I say, I just don't know. I've gotten some of the new products, and we'll see as we go. I think it's inevitable. The only constant in this life is change, right? So I'm just taking it as it comes, you know, as I get the stuff in. But I will be showing some of my hacks and tips and stuff like that as I go. All right, so we're stamping our llama with Memento Tuxedo Black, and then we're going to extend his neck. So you get the choice whether you want him wrapped up in a big scarf or if you just want to leave him, you know, peeking out of a window or something. All right. There. I think I got it. Yeah, not bad, not bad. And let's color him up with some Stampin' Blends. I want to show you how I did this. We're going to do this technique with the Stampin' Blends to get that fuzzy look on our llama. Let me show you what I do. I'm also going to show you the best way right now to get garden green, because if you know Stampin' Up, you know that there is no garden green marker. So I've got dark granny apple green, dark shaded spruce. I've got the real red combo pack. I've got pecan pie combo pack. I've got light crumb cake and a color lifter. This will be on the printable project sheet, so you don't have to scramble to write anything down. We're going to start with the pecan pie, and I've got light and dark. What we're going to do is fill in our llama. I'm going to use kind of a flick to fill around the ears. And when you're using alcohol markers, the best way to get the smoothest coverage is to either flick or do little scribbles. So then we're going to fill in. And when we do these little scribbles, we're going to avoid the nose. We're going to go very light and kind of open around the eyes. And then fill in, leaving just a little bit of white space. Don't do the muzzle. But you see in this first layer, normally when I'm coloring with Stampin' Blends, I tell you to lay down a solid base layer, but not with this technique. So you can see there's still some little bits of white. You can kind of see that scribbly. Now I'm going to take the dark one and I'm going to flick around the edges here. And then I'm going to follow what the artist did, and I'm going to make some random squiggles. I'm going to start with random squiggles where the artist drew in some hints where they should go. But I'm also kind of flicking around the edges to put in a little bit of shadow. So the shadows go around the edges, and that's kind of just flicking. It's following the lines around the edges that the artist gave you. And then you're going to also add some little bit of curly texture by just doing some little scribbles. All right, so you got that in there. And next you're going to take your color lifter and you're going to scribble just like you did with the light pecan pie. You're going to leave open spaces. You're not doing a solid fill. You want to do kind of a spaghetti scribble. And this is going to take a little bit to do its work. The color lifter doesn't lift anything. It actually pushes back into the paper. And so now we're going to go and do just a little bit more scribble with pecan pie. We're avoiding the eyes. We want the light to be in the eyes. Going to add a little shadow around the muzzle. And then last one in this, we're going to take pecan or the light crumb cake and fill the muzzle. Now this time you're going for that solid fill, little scribbles to get a solid fill in the muzzle. And then you're going to scribble over, just like you did with the color lifter, just kind of a light open scribble. And what that does is pushes those darker colors back in some places. And when all that ink settles down into the paper and dries, what you're going to end up with is a really cool, kind of fuzzy, furry looking llama. All right, let's give that a little bit to dry and to settle. And if you notice that any place this looks like it needs a little more texture or a little more shadow, you can go back with a little dark pecan pie and deepen the shadows, or you can go back with a little bit of color lifter and really accentuate that texture. But it does dry a little bit different than it looks. All right, so next up we've got our real red, and we're just going to do some basic color and shadow. I'm not going to do a lot of shading and shadow because we have to actually blend two different colors to make a garden green. Stampin' Up! Does not currently have a garden green Stampin' Blend marker, so it's hard to get the same depth of shading when we're blending two colors to make an entirely different color. So what we're going to do is fill the segments with light real red, and then go in and do a little bit of like contour just to kind of highlight the shape of it. We're not going too light on our highlights or too dark on our shadows because we're not going to have the same ability to match that when we do the green segments. So we do want a solid fill and just a gentle shadow down one side. Okay, so there's the red segments of our scarf. Now for the garden green segments of our scarf, we're going to do a combination of dark granny apple green and dark shaded spruce. Let me show you what that does. So there's our granny apple green. And now we're just going to go right over the top, kind of quickly and gently with shaded spruce. And that will give us about as close to garden green as you're going to get until Stampin' Up! Comes out with that color for us. And I have hope that they will come out with a garden green marker or a Stampin' Blend marker, because the Stampin' Write markers have been discontinued. And if you haven't seen that, they've been discontinued and they're discounted. They're still awesome markers. And without red rubber stamp sets, Stampin' Up! Says that they don't feel the need to have Stampin' Write and Stampin' Blends because the techniques where you color the rubber are not relevant anymore when we don't sell any rubber stamps. So they wanted to get down to one line of markers. And that's okay and that's valid. And it does not at all take away how awesome the Stampin' Writes are, especially the new Stampin' Write markers. The new bullet tip is amazing. They just upgraded the product so well and then discontinued it, which makes me kind of sad. But the discount is awesome, and the markers will last you forever if you choose to invest in them while they're on sale. All right, so I did go through and put a little bit more crumb cake on the llama's muzzle and filled in the ears with light crumb cake. And pro tip, don't color the bottom segment because with the arch we chose, we're going to be cutting that off. And then I do want a little bit more furry texture on my llama, so I'm just going to scribble a little bit more spaghetti lines with the color lifter. And then again, it's not really lifting, it's pushing the color deeper into the cardstock, so we'll let that do its thing while we fussy cut. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this llama off right at about that last red segment, just cut straight across. Then I'm going to trim him out with a little, just the smallest little bit of white border, almost like our dies would do. I want to pop him up and I want his ears to extend past the arch at the top there. If you don't want to fussy cut, go one arch bigger. So I'll show you my die chart in a minute, but if you go one arch bigger, then you can just stamp him right on the arch. If you're making a lot of these for Christmas and coloring is enough and you don't want a fussy cut, also just cut a little bit bigger size base shape and stamp them right on there. I'm only making a few of these cards, so I really like the detail of the ears extending past the shape behind it. I like the natural, like one element doesn't have to end where the other element ends. Do you know what I mean? So your choice, but I thought I'd share that tip if you're going to make a lot of these. All right, there's our llama. Let me show you my chart. So I used this, what I call G, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This is the 7th one from the largest or the 4th one from the smallest. If you don't want to fussy cut your llama, use this F one. The one I used is 2 by 2 13/16, but the next one up is 2 1/4 by 3 1/2, and that 3 1/2 gives you enough room to just stamp your llama right on. But I like his ears hanging off. Okay, so let's get some dimensionals on the back of our llama. Okay, don't get him sticky quite yet, because we're gonna lay a couple of elements, the greeting and some nice pop of designer pattern there. What I've got here is an element from the Christmas Tags and More ephemera sheet. There's these little banners at the bottom. So for this card, I'm using the crumb cake with the fish tail. And for the first card, I used this little element here, this banner shape with the leafy lattice. Really cool choices here, and you can mix and match them. And then I've got a little arrow that I punched from Cherry Cobbler cardstock. I used this brand new punch. It's another punch that's coming in November. You get the 3 little banners, and there's an amazing greeting set that goes with it. I'm gonna add that Cherry Cobbler arrow, just that end of it. We're gonna use it kind of like a tag reinforcer, and let that dry for a second. And then our crumb cake banner, we're gonna adhere that to the card. And all the way to the right edge. Now let's grab our paper snips and cut off the excess of that banner. I'm gonna tie a bow with the linen thread. This is the Early Espresso and Old Olive linen thread combo pack. What I like to do is I've bought a few of them, been through one whole set already, but I bought a few of them, and then I took one of the bags and put all the Early Espresso ones in one bag, and took one of the other bags and put all the Old Olive ones, so that when I'm looking for one color or the other, when I've got like a video set up with one color, I can have a video set up with the other color. So I separated them out and have a few sets of each one. I love this linen thread, the Old Olive and Early Espresso linen thread. What a great addition to the Stampin' Up! Product collection. I hope that Stampin' Up! Keeps this one around for a while. I got a little bow. I'm going to grab a glue dot, and I'm going to just fold it over itself and put it on the knot. And then I'm going to put the bow on the tag. Now you could stop here if you want to, but I've got this little mini attacher, little small stapler. Stampin' Up! Used to make one. Maybe you still have the Stampin' Up! One. I'm just gonna pop a couple of staples at the center of that bow, just for texture. Really, that's all. And let's go ahead and adhere that to the card, and we can add our llama. Got all the scissors. That's how it always happens. And just overlap those a bit. Glue it all the way to the right edge. And our llama. Put that guy next to your banners. Love. All right, now we've got to pick an ephemera item from the ephemera sheet. And I used the kind of red berry leaf, but I was thinking about using one of these that looks more like mistletoe on this one, so we get a little mix and match. I've got that one right here popped out, so I think that's the one I'm going to use on this card. But there's yeah, that's what I'm going to use. There's poinsettias and gifts and candy canes and just so many beautiful ephemera pieces to choose from in this paper. So you pick whatever one you like, and I'm going to put it on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. It's such a pretty little element. Let's show it off to its fullest with a little Stampin' Dimensionals on the back. For our paper sampler, everybody got the Old Olive and Early Espresso linen thread, and also got a pack of these streaked dots. If you got any of the levels that included the sketches. So just the paper was just the paper, but if you joined us for one of the other levels, you got those embellishments. So that's what we're going to use here. I think these embellishment choices look really great with all the different paper sampler papers, and I'm going to sprinkle a couple of those here. I'm going to follow my placement just exactly because I am very dingle challenged. If you're new around here, maybe you don't know that, but I have a very hard time with the dingle placement. I put the dingles, I pick the dingles off, I move the dingles, I stick them back down. I don't like it, I pick them off, and then the dingles don't stick anymore. So once I get a successful dingle arrangement, I try to stick to it. All right, so there's our shortcut card sketch number 22 with the Christmas Tags and More Designer Series paper and Long Time No See stamp set. I've got a little sneak peek here for you. We've been talking a lot about the November online exclusive product that's coming for customers in November or available right now for demonstrators to order in their starter kit. Here's a quick peek at another shortcut card sketch number 22. And this one features that same punch and the bundle. So that's the little word set that goes with it. Some new Designer Series paper, a new stamp set. Here's some new vellum, and we use that same beautiful embossing folder, beautiful pattern embossing folder on the new vellum, new doilies. And these are the little gold dingles from the Advent calendar, the 12 Days of Crafting Advent calendar. I love these dingles. All right, so that's another sneak peek to show you the versatility of shortcut card sketch number 22. I hope that you'll head over and grab all those card sketches and use them. If you make shortcut card sketch number 22 with your Stampin' Up! Supplies, come share in the Craft Social. That's our little corner of the internet. It's our Facebook group, our amazing Facebook group, and you are invited. Link is in the description below. If there's anything I can do to help you stay crafty, you can email Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com and to shop Stampin' Up! Or to join marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Then click shop or click join. If there's anything I can do to help you out, reach out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.